So, good morning, students, and welcome to our second case study this week. So, this one, I created this case study because it's real and it was really happening, and it's still really happening right now. Lululemon was this brand that sort of came out of nowhere. Excuse me while I get some coffee. And, they came out with yoga pants. And they weren't just yoga pants. So these things are like $100, super expensive, but really, really high quality. And they went and grabbed like the interest of not just people that want to do yoga, but people that wanted to be able to, dress casually, like they were going to the gym, even though they might not be going to the gym. So they went and grabbed huge interest, $1 billion in revenue, came online pretty quick. And then in order to keep their costs down, they'd always been manufacturing abroad. And there were a bunch of economic reasons for it. Now we've got go back to 2016, Trump, his first presidency, immediately started putting tariffs in place and against China. And so Lululemon, like most companies, they moved, right? They moved their manufacturing from China. Well, they moved to Vietnam because Vietnam was a safer bet at the time. Well, now Vietnam has come under pressure. And so this case study has everything to do with what should Lululemon do, right? Because, it's easy to say, oh, we'll just bring manufacturing back to the U.S. Except that if we look at the cost, which is in this, right? The cost to come to the U.S. and manufacture in the U.S. is significant, right? We're talking, it could be north of $50 million. You should expect it to be north of $50 million in order for you just to set up manufacturing here. Great, that's wonderful. Now we've got it here, except that now we're going to have higher cost of goods. We talked about this before, right? Revenue minus cost of goods equals gross margin. Gross margin is what we have to run the business on. Well, there's no scenario under which our cost of goods is going to be less. And this means that we've got a retail price that would have to be significantly higher. And what do we know about pricing, right? We talked about this with law of supply and demand. Prices go up, demand goes down. And so they've just got this ridiculous dilemma. So we've got some options, option 1, 2, 3, option 4. Now this one, option 4, everybody tends to be like, oh, that's great. Let's start a value brand, all right? The problem with a value brand is that there is the potential that it's called cannibalize. You eat your own sales. And, you'd launch a Lululemon Light. People start buying Lululemon Light instead of the Lululemon main brand. And so you might end up hurting yourself. So what do you do, right? Because during all this time where we've got all this chaos with pricing and tariffs, Costco and Target both rolled out a product that looked pretty darn good. As a matter of fact, Lululemon sued Costco. Their product was so good and so like Lululemon. Lululemon said, hey, man, you cheated. You stole our designs. Turns out they didn't. They're just yoga pants, bro, right? And so this is not an easy case study. And so take your time when you're working through this, right? You've got a number of options you need to really consider. And, if we move our production out of China or Vietnam and we move to another country, man, there are just tariffs everywhere. And what are we going to do? And this is not an easy scenario, right? The key takeaways on this case study really should be recognizing these supply chains that we built are really fragile. Apple, a couple weeks ago, announced that they're expecting their revenue and profits to be down because of these supply chain disruptions. And Apple was, you want to talk about people that know how to build supply chains, right? These guys built a world-class, best-in-class supply chain, and even their supply chains have been disrupted. And when those supply chains get disrupted, profit revenue gets disrupted. And where you manufacture, how you manufacture really is critical. So take your time with this one and put yourself in the shoes of or in the yoga pants of Lululemon, and really think, what would you potentially do, because the wrong decision could cost you the whole company. Thanks, everybody.